Hi everyone, as some of you know that I've done a few reviews regarding about the X870E and the X870 motherboard, which is not a lot, only 4 of them, coming from MSI, coming from ASRock, and coming from the Asus. Now, if you guys have missed the content, you can click on my top right hand corner and it will take you to the individual review of these boards. And happy to say this, right, after a few days release or even up to 5 days, I got comments, I got emails, I got chat messages asking me how to solve their RAM problems, where else they hit to a stop from their G-Skill RAM and their Corsair RAMs, which are listed on this board's QBL list. Now, I'm so sorry that I cannot solve the problem for you guys, as I'm no longer making use of Corsair RAMs or G-Skill RAMs, and I have made use of another brand, which I will show you later. Now, for those of you still having problems with G-Skill RAMs and Corsair RAMs to run on this boards, I would advise you to raise a support ticket to the various brands like MSI, ASRock, and Asus to ask what are the resolution. So far, I can tell that getting back to me from all these various vendors, right, their support was telling me that they're going to do something about the BIOS that will solve the problem. Well, with this said, just like to mention that all these boards that you see on my review, right, I can boot to UEFI, I can set it to Expo profile and such, based on the fact that I'm making use of KingBank's RAM. And all this, in fact, I make use of this RAM known as the KingBank Heatsink DDR5, which has a cache latency of CL28. And with this said, right, I had 2 sets of this and I've tested most of them, not a problem on this motherboard. They can run on Expo profile, and have 1 set which is right now running on my rig for a couple of months, which is doing fine. Now with this set, I was curious, what if I were to take another set of KingBank RAM, and does it boot to all this motherboard and to run on Expo profile, which thanks to KingBank, I have acquired this, which is the KingBank Sharp Blade. These are the DDR5 and ARGB littered RAMs, whereby I do have a build with a new case which is white. So I have acquired this from them. Thanks to them, they have provided this to me. So without further ado, right, I will go into details about this RAM, how it looks like, while the cache latency and such. Then I will test each and individual board that I have from the X870E and the X670 motherboards. I know this part is going to be lengthy, but do listen to what I got to say. These are based on my own opinion, my own observation and such. Now when you look at the brand KingBank, what does it tell you? Oh, it's a China brand made RAMs. And how reliable it is, I would choose Corsair over this or G-Skill over this. And also based on the research that you might have done, seeing that various reviewers saying that, oh, these are not durable RAMs, they can't run at this, they can't run at that. But when you dig deep into it, just my own opinion, I've done my research on YouTube, there are certain reviewers who have actually done this reviews on these RAMs. They have wrongly justified these RAMs because 1, they only talk about it, and 2, they only provide graphs and static results stating that, oh, they can't run this, they can't run that. How true are they just based on graph and just on the word? Whereas I believe, okay, I'm not saying that I'm very great, I believe that some of you have witnessed that when I test on this KingBank Heatsink, which some of you have missed the content, you can click on my top right hand corner and it will take you to the content. This RAM does run at its capable speed, which is cache latency of CL28 with a bus speed of 6000. You might say that, oh, what's so great, 6000 with a tight timing on CL28. I'll explain further later regarding about this. Now, having said this, right, so what that is actually China made, based on the fact that most of your PC products is actually done in China, on all the industrial area. Okay, even famous reviewers have actually gone down to the factory to show you that, oh, this is actually done in Shenzhen factories and such. So they have the quality engine, or should I say machine, right, to produce such quality products. So probably you might have to drop the idea of saying that, oh, this is actually made of China, is not good. Not at all. Alright, with this said, right, be it whether made in China, Vietnam, Singapore, Taiwan, Malaysia, or even in Thailand, all these are qualified factory to produce products, and it's up to the reviewers to show and to share with the viewers with true facts, which on my stand I normally do. I will show you in and out of what this RAMs is capable of. As mentioned to you, right, this dark heatsink is doing great. In fact, one of the set which I purchased myself just to confirm that this RAMs is running perfect is currently running in my rig, and it's been for like months without any issues, and it does carry the frequency and the clock frequency, or should I say the bus frequency. Now, before I proceed on to this, a little concept about AMD RAMs is slightly different from Intel. You would want to run a 1-to-1 ratio on a AMD platform, as how to run the RAM speed, which is 6000, is based on the clock frequency and the clock controller. If you have a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning to say for this for this 6000 bar speed, right, it has a clock frequency of 3000, which is your infinity fabric, and a 3000 clock control speed. So that's mean by 1-to-1 ratio, whereby it runs 6000 bar speed. And with that said, right, if you were to run a 1-to-2 ratio, imagine this 8000 bar speed, where you have the frequency at 4000, the infinity fabric, and the clock controller as 2000. So this is 2-to-1 ratio. So how does that derive? Simple said, imagine you have a mountain bike, and a mountain bike each side have a pedal, and this is 1-to-1 ratio. So you pedal 1-to-1 ratio, you have the strength, you have the stamina to go on. And if you're running 2-to-1 ratio, imagine that you have one side 2 pedals, one side 1 pedal. Your 2 side will have lesser energy to push, but your one side pedal, right, will have a time to struggle and to catch up with your 2 pedals. So this is actually what it meant. So having a higher bar speed, right, doesn't mean that it's going to be fast and such. If your timing is very loose, even having an 8000 bar speed, right, it will not be fast. And some of the motherboard, based on the fact that the one pedal is catching up with the 2 pedal, right, it can't run at that bar speed of 8000. It's just like your motherboard, whereby some of you have witnessed that, oh, I have purchased a 8000 bar speed kit, but when I plug to my motherboard, right, I can only run max at 7600 or 7800, but not at the cater speed. And even you will need to pump the VDIMM voltage up in order for it to catch up and to pump at that bar speed. So it's best that for AMD, right, do a 1-to-1 ratio. The sweet spot is at 6000, and don't go beyond that. Okay, in fact, you go beyond that, right, when you play games and such, right, it's only very minimal on the FPS. Trust me on this one. You will want to get very tight timing, just like this, which is CL28. If you can't get either CL30 or 32. Never go beyond that. You can have high bar speed, but less, loose timing, right? Your system will not go any faster. In fact, you take much more time to actually load programs, compile programs and such. Okay, now go to this RAMs, SN9, the sharp Blade DDR5 from KingBank. First of all, the outlook of it. You have a Chinese character which means blade or knife, okay, in red. Then you have all these subtle lines, and when you plug the RAMs, right, you will be only able to see partial of it, which is blade, and a very nice finish ARGB, I should say the diffusion with KingBank. In fact, when this is plugged in, right, you can't really see the KingBank. And all these are not chipped out. As you can see, it's all tightly grabbed to the ARGB diffusion. The pattern is very nice. And speaking of which, right, now some of you have wanted, these are all, okay, let me see if I could take this out. These are all SK Hynix N die. Okay, hope I don't break it. Okay, good. See, you can witness all this written down there are SK Hynix, and they are of N die. And for the speed of these RAMs, the bus speed is at, okay, probably I'll put this one side. The bus speed is at 6400 with a cache latency of CL32, 39, 39, 80. And each stick is 16 gig. So these are 32 gig kit RAMs. Starting off with the Nova X870E from ASRock. And this is resetted with the CMOS. So it will go through the RAM timing, which I believe most of the reviewers will not show you this. I will show you the whole length. So these are the KingBank's Sharp Blade 32 gig kit. So if I were to turn on, as you can see, the debug code. Now, you will not have to worry that it stays on 15 for some time. Probably I would say about 20 to 30 seconds, or maybe closer to a 45-second kind of timing. So what you would just do is RAM timing, and this is how the diffusion of the KingBank, see, is very uniform. So you just got to wait. So this is the amount of time that you need to wait. So don't panic. See, you will just cycle. Once it's cycled, okay, the fan will ramp up as usual. Then you will see that the UEFI will load right after some time. See, it's beginning to load. And when it's loaded, as you can see over here, okay, a closer look. Right now it's at default 4800 megahertz. Okay, these are DDR5. So 2 RAM sticks, 1616. Now, if I am to set the XMP profile, okay, to the Expo. Now, take note, these RAMs have one thing unique. You can run on XMP profile or you can run on Expo profile. It's catered for both AMD and Intel platform. So if for AMD, right, I would advise to set at Expo profile, which is running at a bus speed of 6400 with a voltage of 1.4. So when I set to this, right, and right now I'm just going to save it. Okay. And you witness something later. So I let it cycle. Again, when you set the RAM to its profile, right, it will stay at 15. Then you take some time to cycle or do the RAM training again just to cater for your Expo profile. So probably let it run. See, in no time it will run. And make sure that on your motherboard, right, you update to the latest BIOS just to cater for the 9000 series and the X3D 9000 X3D series. So right now it will load. See, and take a look at the profile. Instead of 48 right now, it's at 6400. So this shows that it proves that it runs perfectly fine. Now some might say that no big deal, I can run and boot to UEFI, but what about Windows? Does it crash and such? Alright, something to take note, this debug code on Nova is not an error. It's just happened that I set my Nova to run this to read the temperature of my CPU, which is 60 degrees Celsius on idle. based on the fact that I'm using an air cooler. Okay, now come to Windows. As you can see over here, this is running off Windows. Alright, and using IDA 64, you can take a look. The RAMs are of KingBank, and it's of X-Pro profile 6400, and with a cache latency of 32, 39, 39, 80. And I did run the cache and memory benchmark, which you can see over here. See, these are the score. It can run perfectly. And as you can see, this is the ASRock X870E Nova Wi-Fi. And all this check out fine. Next will be the Asus ROG Strix X870E-E. I will start off the machine. The KingBank's RAM are sorted in. And when it's at 15, right, code 15, do not panic. This is correct. Let it run the RAM training. Now, for some reason, right, be it all the rest of the boards which I flashed to the latest BIOS, right, this board seems to take longer time for the RAM training, but that will be only at the initial start. So once you have cycled from the very beginning, right, and when you do the settings on the Expo profile and such, right, you'll be much more faster. I mean the cycling of it. So when this board, if you were to purchase this board and it's hanging on code 15, right, don't panic, let it run, let it sit. Probably go and take a cup of coffee, drink some tea, or take some biscuits and such, then come back to it. By the time when you come back, right, your UEFI will be loaded, or should I say the prompt message for you to enter to UEFI. See, as I speak to you, right, it is still doing the training. Now, KingBank, in fact, I'm not trying to convince anyone to actually, that this is actually a good RAM. It's just that they are verified as I've tested it. They are indeed performing. They are indeed able to cater for a long period of run and such. And before that, when I was testing on the original set of KingBank RAMs, I'm kind of skeptic. But after when I run it, right, I truly enjoy using the King RAMs. That's why I ditched off two of the branding RAM stick, which is Crosshair and G-Skill. Because I find they are much cheaper at promotional period of time. That's the reason why I continue to use these RAMs. See, as I talk, right, as I told you, Asus is taking a much more longer time, which I hope that in future Asus will improve on this on their BIOS, because this will cause a lot of panic to a lot of users or a lot of builders who is from AM4 platform to this AM5 platform. So as I talk, see, it finally cycled. It's been, I believe, more than 1 over minute. And when it flash rate, right, do not worry, let it pass through because it's verifying your CPU. Then once that's done, right, it will load to your prompt message, which asks you to go to the UEFI. So in no time right now, okay, see, it prompt. So at this moment, right, you just need to press F1 and it will take you to the BIOS page. This is the simple, or should I say easy mode, whereby you can see all this, right, it's kind of confusing. So I'm just going to take you to the advanced mode. Now on the advanced mode, right, take a look at the speed, see, 4.8. Okay, looking at here. Now the KingBank naming, right, is actually on my left, but you can't see it. So I'm just going to show you the memory frequency. Right now is 4800 megahertz. See, these are KingBank. So I'm just going to set the Expo profile. Oh, speaking about the Asus, they have locked in a way that it will not show you the XMP profile. And that's the correct way. In fact, I feel that all motherboards, right, if you are using AMD, right, if your RAMs have dual profile, like this KingBanks, right, it should only show you the Expo, because that is the optimized profile. So Asus have actually done the correct way. Right now I'm just going to select to Expo 1 and to save this and to reboot. And when I boot, right, do take note on the RAM training timing again. Okay, right now I'm just going to save and leave it over here. I'm not going to touch it. Okay, I save. Take a look, it cycle through. Okay, it's rebooting. Now again, when it's at 15, do not worry, this is perfectly fine. This 15 code, right, is verifying that you have RAM state your RAM stick populated correctly. If it doesn't have the 15 code, right, then there will be a problem. So right now it's actually doing the RAM training again, but this time round will be much shorter as I talk. As compared to the first round, when I start to talk and talk and talk, it still doesn't boot up to UEFI. Okay, probably will take some time. Now rest assured, see, it's a shorter time. Rest assured, once this is booted up, right, the next time when you reboot your system or you turn on your system, right, it will be this fast. So you don't have to worry a single thing. Okay, right now it's going to boot to UEFI. See? Take a look at the RAM timing right now. 6400. See, it does work. I will show you on the Windows how it looks like. Alright, booted up to Windows, as you can see over here. Now, something to take note on this debug code. Now, this is not the error that what the system is facing. In fact, this is the temperature. So it's a neat touch, which my review I have not covered this. This is showing you the temperature of your motherboard. Good stuff. Now, coming to the booting up on the Windows itself, as mentioned to you, see. Now, if I were to check on the RAMs, say this is of KingBank 32 gig kit with the Expo profile 6400 and the cache latency, which is 32, 39, 39, 80. And when I run the benchmark, see, this is the score, and it's running on the Asus Strix X870E gaming Wi-Fi. Next, with the MSI, there are two boards. I will start off with this. Just let me turn it on. And this is the MSI MPG X870E Carbon. Almost forget the name. Anyway, this is the debug code whereby it stays 15. Do not worry. All this LED will be like lit up. Do not worry either. As I mentioned to you, if it's 15, right, it's perfectly fine. That means to say your RAMs are reading it. And right now it's doing the RAM training. But in the event, if let's say either of the RAMs, right, is not detecting, right, this will not light up. And you have all this lit up. And that event, right, you probably can reset the RAMs and it still doesn't work. Check out one RAMs, see whether it does show 15. If it does, right, just switch the RAM again. And if it does again, right, that means to say something wrong with the RAM slot. But do not worry, probably use a blower to blow off the dust and such, or clean off your contact from your RAMs. And I do have some of my videos showing that how you clean the pins from the RAMs, as in like the gold pins underneath the RAMs. Now, in the event if one stick is able to show at 15 and the other doesn't show, right, it's an indication that the other RAM might be damaged, since it's actually on the same slot. So take note on this. Now, as mentioned to you, right, this RAM training time will take some time, so just let it run. Do not panic. Okay, don't just all of a sudden shut off and such. This will not help. You will need to let go, relax, take a cup of coffee, take a cup of tea, or maybe biscuits. And last point is that make sure you update the BIOS to the latest BIOS to have a faster RAM time. I mean the training time, because initially when I got this board, right, be it whether the Asus, the MSI, or the ASRock, with the default BIOS, the RAM timing is slightly longer. So when you update to the latest BIOS, right, it will not be such a hassle. It will still take some time, okay, probably 2 to 3 minutes. But as mentioned, do not panic. See, it flashes right now, and when it does that, right, it will definitely boot to the UEFI. As mentioned to you, this is only the very first time when you do this. Following on, right, when you have done the settings and such, right, you don't have to worry. Okay, I'll just let it boot. See, it boots to the UEFI. And for MSI, this is by default, so just let go. Now when you come to the easy mode, I will switch to the advanced mode just to show you the RAMs. Okay, at overclocking. Okay, on overclocking itself, right, see there is expo profile and such, but just to show you, see the RAMs right now is sitting, is very small wording 4800. So right now I'm just going to set to expo profile. As mentioned to you, this RAMs has two profile, which is XMP, okay, which is this, and expo. Make sure you choose expo because this is AMD. You want to maximize or optimize the performance. So when you enable the expo profile, right, you will pull out the expo profile, as you can see over here. So right now I'm just going to save, and to restart, save and reboot. Again, when you save and restart, right, this will take some time. This will sit at 15 again. Then for the second time when you do this, right, it's a shorter time. Meaning to say the RAM training is not so long. Okay, just let it run, let it synchronize, let it verify. Then by the time you know it, right, it will just go back to the BIOS. See, it's faster. And once you have set this, right, throughout when you install Windows and such, right, when you boot up, right, it will be fast. You will not do the extensive RAM training. Okay, right now it's booting up. See, it's in. And take a look at the take a look at the RAMs right now. See, 6400 or 6400. I'm going to show you in Windows. Again, I boot to Windows, as you can see over here. So I run the memory and bench, but just to let you see, okay, this is the motherboard, which is the X870 carbon, or should I say X870E carbon. As for the memory, right, okay, they are KingBanks, and again the expo profile, which is 6400, and with the tight timing. So when I run the memory itself, right, see, this is how it looks like. Everything is loaded fine, perfectly fine, no problems. And running off with this MSI MPG X870E carbon Wi-Fi. Next will be the MSI X870 Tomahawk, whereby I need to short the pin in order to turn on the system. Take a look at the digital debug code over here. If I sort this correctly, right, this will be 15. And in most of the tests that you've seen previously, right, I've always cleared the CMOS before I do this. So just to show you, I have already done the clear CMOS. Okay, probably I clear again. This is actually a clear CMOS over here. Then I let go after 5 seconds. Now I'm going to turn it on. See, it's going to stay at 15. And the memory training will go. For some reason, Tomahawk and the ASRock motherboard, right, the RAM training is super fast, and you will just boot to UEFI in no time, which I will be placing over here. Okay, as I talk, this will cycle. Then you will boot up. Okay, see, it boots up, and you will go into UEFI. And for MSI, since the new interface, right, the first thing you will see is this. Just set to auto and click OK. Then I will switch to the advanced mode. Now, just to let you see, when I toggle this to the overclocking, right, take a look at the RAM's frequency at the moment, which is by default 4800. Then if you are to enable this XMP, sorry, the expo profile, Okay, I've done this. Then right now I'm just gonna save it and to boot. And when I boot, right, take note on the RAM timing again. Okay, it cycles again, go to 15. Then for some reason, right, on the second run, it takes a bit longer, but not as long as the Carbon and the Asus. So probably you need to wait for a while. And do note that after you run this the second time, right, once it's fixed, right, it will be fast in booting, be it whether you reset or such. See, it just go through. Means the configuration is successful, then it will take you to the UEFI interface. And I'll show you again that the speed have changed. Okay, right now it'll take you to the UEFI. See, it's pretty fast, surprisingly. Then again at overclock, right, where I've set the expo profile earlier on, take a look at the speed. I mean the bus speed. See, it's done. Let me take you to the Windows. I boot up the Windows, and something which I noticed of all the debug codes on all the motherboards that I've shown you, right, for ASRock, over here will show you the temperature of the CPU. For Asus, it shows you the motherboard temperature, which I believe you can switch to CPU, which I will probably feather later. Then for the Tomahawk, it does show the temperature of the CPU. As you can see over here, I see 47 degrees. This is 47 degrees. See? So if I were to shake a bit and such, 49, see? It follows. So something that you might want to take note when you update the BIOS, this will show the temperature on your Tomahawk, which is kind of cool. Now, okay, as for the RAMs itself, right, again I've run the memory bench. Now just to show you the motherboard itself, see, this is the Tomahawk Wi-Fi X870, and when I look at the RAMs, these are KingBanks, and of course with the bus frequency 6400 and the RAM timing. My thoughts about this DDR5 RAM kit coming from KingBank, known as the Sharp Blade ARGB, or should I say RGB. First of all, the design is pretty subtle but elegant. It doesn't show any aggressiveness. I like how they design it at the side where it's tapered down with the ARGB fusion, followed by the top. Now this is aligned properly, as you can see. Fantastic alignment, and they don't chip out on the cutouts, as in like to clip the heat spreader to the diffuse cover. And for the heat spreader, right, on each side, if you have not noticed, or should I say I have not shown you, it's of 2mm thick. So the dissipation of heat is fantastic. And best part of all, it does have a Chinese character. I am a Chinese, so this is the word Bao, that means to say blade or knife. Nice. And besides this, right, you have witnessed that I've done the motherboard reviews on the various X870 or the X870E. I had no problem showing you the UEFI when I plug the previous KingBank RAMs that KingBank have supplied, which is the dark heatsink. And also this RAMs, again, no issue at all. I've shown you. It's just plug and play. It's that easy. So would I recommend this RAMs to you guys? Well, this is up to you to think about it. You can check out the benchmark on my previous dark heatsink. Though I have not done the benchmark of this, but I believe it will run pretty well. Because one thing I noticed that when I touch the RAM heatsink, right, it doesn't feel that hot. Same goes to the CL28. Nicely done. With this said, I'd like to thank KingBank to have provided this unit, or should I say the Sharp Blade, for me to share with you guys. And for those of you who are actually new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you like my content, do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification bell button. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.